Hi everyone, what's up? Josh here from Alternative Brewing, and today we're diving into the world of coffee grinders for something new. For years now, the Niche Zero has been hailed as that pinnacle of single dosing conical burr grinders, but today I want to introduce you to what I think is my contender. As we know, there are several of these guided proverbial niche killer videos out there, each claiming to have found the ultimate challenger. I'm just biting down on the trend, but is this the niche killer? Well, stick around as we dissect every detail from design to performance. This just isn't a comparison, it is a showdown. Let's find out if the Varia VS3 lives up to its hype and whether it's time for a new champion. Ready? Let's go. Beginning in the realm of design and build quality, the Varia VS3 and Niche Zero take divergent paths. The Niche Zero exudes a rounded, multi-material aesthetic, blending aluminium with wood and plastic components. Its contours are soft, offering a unique visual appeal. In contrast, the Varia VS3 opts for a more compact, solid metal build, featuring sharp, precise edging for a sleek, modern look. While both share the strength of aluminium, their design aesthetics differ significantly. It is worth noting, however, that these aesthetic choices don't directly impact the workflow or user experience. Let's keep looking into how the design elements, though, translate into tangible user benefits for each grinder. And when it comes to workflow and user experience, the Niche Zero really did set the standard for home grinders, sparking a wave of innovation in single dosing. Now, the four key aspects that I would like to dissect here are grind adjustment, hopper functionality, basic operation, and retention with static. The Niche, with its helpful ranges displayed, uses a ball bearing dot as a sight, and is occasionally prone to slipping of this sight, impacting calibration. In contrast, the Varia boasts a precise scale with a sharp arrow, ensuring accurate settings without calibration concerns. Adding beans to the Niche's 50-gram capacity large open hopper is an enjoyable process, offering that visual treat as beans disappear down into the burrs. However, the inability to start grinding before adding the beans due to the hopper lid's shut-off switch is somewhat of a limitation. The Varia's smaller magnetic lidded hopper, accommodating 30 grams or 50 with the bellows placed on, allows for this pre-grind burr activation, enhancing its flexibility. Operation-wise, the Niche's switch is super user-friendly, but that standby red light might be a bit too bright for some users. In contrast, the Varia's button simplicity lacks an operation light, though it includes a bellows and an RDT bottle for reduced retention and clear grinding, surpassing the Niche in this aspect. While the Niche's stainless steel catch cup excels, the Varia's, though magnetized for precision, requires a dosing ring due to its size limitation when brewing for espresso. Despite this, the Varia offers an overall efficient and versatile user experience that I believe well challenges the Niche's dominance in the single dosing arena. And then when delving into those nuances of static and retention, it is evident to me that the Varia VS3 outshines its competition, including the Niche Zero. While some niche users may claim minimal static when using this grinder, I think the overall issue of static cannot be dismissed. And the Varia not only addresses this concern effectively, but does so comprehensively. With every Varia purchased, users receive all the necessary tools, including the bellows and an RDT bottle, creating that dynamic combo that significantly reduces static and promotes cleaner grinding. And even with the additional purchases for a niche, such as an RDT bottle, you are left without that convenience of a bellows still, highlighting the Varia's exceptional performance and value proposition. So in the realm of static and retention, I really do believe that the Varia VS3 not only meets expectations, but raises the bar for what a single dosing grinder can offer. All right, so here's the bit where I'm gonna grind out a 20-gram dose on each of these grinders to see how loud they grind and how fast each of them grinds. I've got a matched 4 grind settings of around an espresso grind of 350 microns, and I've done this specifically using the dye fluid Omni Particle Size Analyzer, which is a fantastic tool, and a huge shout out to Joe from Socratic Coffee for loaning me this impressive piece of equipment. Thank you, Joe. Let's do this. Should we start with the champion or the contender? I think we'll go the contender. Start the clock. And we're done. All right. Now the niche. Start the clock. There we go. That got me worried there. Now we're done. A little bit of static, but that's okay. Check there's nothing left in the chute. Nice. It's just, it's pretty amazing. I'm always left speechless being like, how does a grinder make the grinds smell so different even though it's the same beans, same grind setting? It just smells so different still. There's some good looking grinds on both sides. All right, let's now talk importantly about price and value for money. Here we're confronted obviously with a significant price difference between the Varia VS3 and the Niche Zero. The Niche, a heavyweight in the coffee grinder market, costs around 3 times more than the Varia. This discrepancy, however, is reflected in its hardware, with the Niche boasting 63mm Matza burrs and a robust 270-watt motor, dwarfing that of the Varia's 38mm burrs and 100-watt motor. But does the system alone justify the price difference? As when it comes to distinctive flavor profiles and versatility, I believe the Varia challenges the Niche's espresso-centric reputation. And while the Niche excels at espresso, its filter coffee is known to lack some clarity, whereas the Varia, on the other hand, seamlessly transitions between espresso and filter, maintaining its distinctive flavor profile. And then when it came to analyzing the grind distribution at the espresso grind settings, I discovered the Varia shines with a more uniformed result, boasting an average standard deviation of 200 between the 300 and the 600 microns, keeping in mind the lower the standard deviation, the better. In contrast, the Niche presented with a higher deviation and more fines in the result. Now, the Varia's superior performance here also showed up within the filter grind settings, and this is noteworthy, outclassing the Niche considerably. But look, numbers alone won't tell the whole story, so let's put this to a taste test. Let's do a blind tasting on both espresso and filter on each, and then we'll delve into the results, exploring whether the Varia's on-paper performance translates into a discernible difference in the cup. And that was a lot of alliteration there. All right, with a little bit of movie magic. All right, 2 espressos down, one made on the Niche and one made on the Varia VS3 grinder. I'm gonna be tasting these 2 espressos. Now I've got it on this little funky spinning wheel here, so I really don't know which one is which. Both of these grinders are very easy to adjust the grind dial, so you know, if it wasn't falling on the exact flow rate and time, I was able to just adjust it ever so slightly on either of these and just kind of nudge it an extra second or an extra 2 seconds in the espresso flow rate to get where I wanted it to land. So they both ran really well. Got them all within 3 shots and then was able to make both espressos quite happily. So that is a big plus when you're purchasing any sort of espresso grinder, that you're able to make those small adjustments and it makes the difference. You can see that it makes a 1 or 2 second step by just adjusting that ever so slightly. I've got this, man, The aromas coming off of this espresso is just incredible. Takes me back. It takes me back. This is a Ethiopian coffee, and it has tasting notes of jasmine, blueberry, and yellow nectarine. It's a natural processed coffee. Obviously, it's heirloom varietal, straight out of Ethiopia. When I say it takes me back, it's kind of like one of the first espressos that blew my mind. First, not even espresso, first coffee that blew my mind outside of commodity coffee that just tasted like what I thought was coffee. And I remember the first espresso I drank just tastes like hot blueberry juice. Essentially, that espresso got me into the coffee industry, like the industry of coffee. Let's hope maybe this takes me back. Maybe this takes me back. A lot of nostalgia going on right now. I'm gonna give them both a stir, and then we'll taste them. I'm gonna say this is interesting. Well, the coffee itself, they are what they are. They both taste really nice. And when I say they taste very nice, it's like I'm almost propelled to say, well, what mood am I in? What coffee do I feel like drinking today? Because they're both delicious coffees. They just have very different and distinct flavor profiles. So it's like, what do I feel like today? What am I in the mood for? Which is funny in itself. But this coffee on the right, what really stands out? I mean, I will come back to, start midway through to finish and what it's giving me. But what I love most about this coffee on the right is after that kind of fleeting sweetness and acidity is over, which it does have, it just really mellows out on this very, not chalky, but like very textural dark chocolate. Now, my favorite dark chocolate is like 95% Lindt, and this has kind of got a hallmark of that flavor and that textual feel in the mouth. It has a very heavy chocolatey body. Again, it has kind of those hints and nuances of sweetness and acidity that comes with some bright berries up front, but its best feature would by far be the textural dark chocolate in the middle. And that kind of lingers, like there is no sweetness or acidity that lingers through this cup. It kind of starts up front with that, but just kind of sets itself in for like a big body. And on the one on my left, the best I can say about this cup is that it sings. That it just sings like a fruit cup. There is a really beautiful balance of sweetness and acidity, so it's really well connected. There's no heightened sweetness without any acidity or heightened acidity with no sweetness. There's a puckiness in the lips when you drink it that kind of grabs the sides of your mouth, but it's quite juicy, so it doesn't kind of hang there, but it covers your whole mouth with a whole bunch of it tastes like berries that you're just munching down at once. There is a tight textual feel to it, but it is quite slick, so it kind of doesn't last that long in your mouth, but it's just juicy. It's just really juicy. It's a nice juicy cup of espresso. And if I was to kind of go back to my nostalgic roots of an Ethiopian coffee, this is what I've come to expect from that kind of an experience. However, like I said, like 95% chocolate, it's hard to go by. I have a piece of dark chocolate like literally every night after dinner. It's one of my favorite guilty pleasures, eating dark chocolate. So this cup is very enjoyable as well and very familiar to me. Now, after all of that, I think I would guess quite easily, knowing the profiles of both of these grinders, that the deep body, dark chocolates, fleeting sweetness and acidity, but it wasn't terrible, it was just fleeting, would go to the niche. And the more brighter, juicier, more balanced acidity and sweetness. And I guess I didn't talk too much about the body, but there is some juiciness to it. So there is a lot of flavor in there that carries through the espresso shot, would go to the Varia. So I did white on the niche, because I have a white niche, so that was going to be easy to remember, and a red on the Varia. We'll go with the niche first. Yep, white, and obviously this is going to be the red espresso. Yeah, I love this. I really do love pitting two grinders next to each other that and making two espressos that completely taste different. Like now, I don't think I could make this espresso with the Varia. And vice versa, like I would probably be chasing my tail or having to run a really fast turbo shot with the niche to get this type of espresso. And then I'm probably just going to be giving up some sort of texture or balance in the cup by making it on the niche as a turbo shot. So like I said, it depends what mood you're in. I love this cup. I love this cup. I wouldn't say equally, especially when you're picking up a bag of coffee and you're like, jasmine, blueberry, yellow nectar, let's do this. That's this cup, absolutely. Like there was not much of that in this cup, but that's the results. Let's go check out the filter coffee now. Let's do this. Okay, they're probably just still a little bit too hot to give you my final appraisal of these cups. Certainly, and this probably goes for most coffee, espresso even, but definitely black coffee and definitely filter coffee. The cooler they become, the more sweetness comes out of them, the more brightness, and generally the better the coffee or the better the extraction, the better the quality of the beans, the tastier the coffee becomes, or at least the longer the coffee holds at a good flavor. Whereas if it's not a great extraction or not great quality beans, it might taste great to begin with, but then as it cools, it kind of just really loses any quality in the flavor and it just dullens out. And you just kind of get a really muddled flavor. So I tend to find the better the quality extraction, the better quality beans, right? Just the consistency stays as the coffee cools down or even gets better. Yeah. Well, this is a hard one, actually. I thought this was going to be a little bit easier. I will say whichever the Varia one is right now is not jumping out at me that I expected it would. I know that as they've cooled, this has got a little bit brighter, but it's still dropping off to be not really that exciting. Whereas this initial brightness and sweetness has kind of mellowed out, but it still continues to be the more favorite cup for me at the moment. It just has a little bit more for me in terms of that flavor carrying through to the end. I'm gonna find it difficult actually to pick which one is which. When I go from this bowl to this bowl, it seems that this bowl stands out. And then when I go from this bowl to this bowl, it seems like this bowl doesn't stand out. So trying to confuse my taste buds or just really narrow down on which one's which, I feel like this is the Varia VS3 because of just, there's a lot of brightness in this cup and it continues to jump out at me regardless of where my taste buds are. Whereas from the beginning, I just never felt like there was enough flavor in this bowl. It just drops off and it's very kind of mellow. So, like I said, Varia VS3, Niche Zero. If this is the Varia VS3, should have a a red dot on it, and this should have a white dot on it. Let's check. Yep, that's the red dot, and this would be the white dot. Whew, that was a close one. I was sweating that. I wasn't too sure which one would be which, to be truthful, but just kind of going back and forwards to really try and confuse my taste buds or make something jump out at me. This really came down to how bright and juicy it was in the cup, much more like a filter coffee. Then this just didn't carry any of that flavor through. So that concludes that. I don't feel like this necessarily needs to be explained in terms of which is my favorite cup. Certainly this is, when it comes to filter coffee, you really are chasing I guess, a more juicier cup. I don't know too many people adding kind of milk into their coffee, so they're not really looking for something to cut through in terms of body. And I think for a majority of coffee drinkers, this would be the preferred cup when it comes to filter brewing. So no mood changes here. I'm picking the Varia VS3 as the winner here. So let's talk about maintenance and cleaning. These being crucial aspects for the longevity of the grinder, the Varia VS3 and the Niche Zero share similar paths in terms of their ease of maintenance. Disassembling the Niche Zero is BYO tools. The Varia, though, comes with all the tools needed, simplifying this disassembling process. But it doesn't stop there. The Varia goes that extra mile, providing spare parts that are prone to wear and tear. And it's this thoughtful inclusion that allows users to extend the life of the grinder without the hassle of hunting down replacements. And then when discussing the durability and the longevity of these grinders, we do find an interesting dichotomy between the seasoned Niche Zero and the evolving Varia VS3. The Niche, a stalwart in the market for over 3 years, has undergone extensive field testing, establishing a reputation for reliability. On the other hand, the Varia, while promising, does carry that baggage of earlier concerns with its first generation VS3 models, including issues like stalling and motor problems. However, Varia has responded to these challenges with the second generation VS3, which claims to have addressed and resolved these earlier concerns. And only time will truly reveal the durability of this newer iteration. Certainly, for what I've seen, the impressive features that they've added to the Gen 2 does a great deal in calming those earlier concerns. So as we draw the curtains down on this comparison, one can't help but wonder, has the Niche been surpassed? Maybe not killed, but the Varia VS3 certainly stands tall, challenging the Niche's reign with a blend of precision, flexibility, and its affordability. Now, in the pursuit of great coffee here, I've dissected the many details, unraveling the strengths and unique features of both of these grinders. And it is with the Varia and its second generation refinement that not only addresses past concerns, but I believe positions itself as that worthy competitor, offering a comprehensive package that outshines the Niche in several aspects. And before we move on, I do also want to say, or rather acknowledge, that there are other grinders out there that maintain performances similar to or even better than the Niche. However, when you look at the Varia VS3, it not only rises to this challenge of being a niche killer, but I think it goes beyond that. And it delivers outstanding value whilst offering an unbeatable price point, along with the enhanced features that cater to the demands of the discerning coffee enthusiast. And considering that competitive landscape, the Varia has unparalleled value for money. And if you're seeking a grinder that not only matches but surpasses the Niche's performance whilst providing exceptional value, perhaps explore the Varia VS3 as that ultimate option for your next grinder. And I'll leave it up to you to pull that trigger. Thank you so much for joining me today as I've put forward the Varia VS3 as my niche killer. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and certainly if you do, please smash that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more great content. See you in the next video.